Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our daily message. Today we are covering Chapter 5 in the book The Infinite Way by Joel Goldsmith, and today's chapter is The Soul. Goldsmith writes that the soul is that part of us which lies buried deep within us, and yet we seldom realize it. The soul and its powers lie within the reach of our own consciousness, and when touched by us, they come forth from within us and reach every avenue of our daily life, giving inspiration, beauty, peace, joy, and harmony to each moment of our existence, covering every event in our experience with love, understanding, and success. The invitation has been extended to mankind for centuries to, as Goldsmith writes, drink from this fountain of living waters. Every generation has produced many men and women who have found this unfailing source within them. And every so often one arises who's been able to delve more deeply into the depths of their soul. And these seers have told of the kingdom within and of the life that may be lived through grace when this consciousness is achieved. More and more people are beginning to realize that freedom from fear, insecurity, want, and ill health is not found in the material realm. He writes, wars will not end wars, investments will not ensure security from want. Medicines do not produce real health. Some greater power than we have in the human body or our thoughts must be tapped to give us the happiness and harmony and peace that is our right. This power is available to everyone because it's already a part of our being. In fact, it's the greatest part of our being. The powers of the soul are more real and tangible than any of the material powers of nature or invention, because they operate on a higher level of consciousness, but are made evident in every aspect of our lives. He writes that soul forces act upon the human body to produce and maintain health and harmony. They touch every avenue of our daily existence as protective influences and are the source of infinite supply. The soul-conscious people of this world live in an inner life of peace, joy, and dominion, and an outer life in complete harmony with themselves and with all the world of man, animal, and things. They are so in tune with their soul powers, and this constitutes their feeling of being one with all of creation. Everyone has access to the soul. It lies deep within our own being. It's the desire for a higher state of consciousness that's the first requisite, and then we must continuously turn within until we have achieved that connection. A good start may be made through the realization that the truth that there is more to human existence than physical health and material supply. When we catch a glimpse of the fact that more dollars, homes, or automobiles do not constitute supply, that more travel does not constitute recreation, that absence of illness is not necessarily true health, then we are going in the right direction to discover the realm of the soul. We know that there is a soul force, but we still do not understand that this soul power can do more for us than all the material and mental power combined. Perhaps one reason for the world's lack of interest in finding out more about the soul is that this great reservoir of power cannot be used for selfish purposes. This is the secret of why so few people achieve soul consciousness. We only become aware of the presence of the soul after we have freed ourselves of all selfish desires. And in proportion to our desire to serve the interests of mankind, does this infinite power individualize within us as us. Goldsmith writes that it is right, natural, and normal that we live full, happy, and prosperous lives. But we can do this without taking thought for ourselves, for our supply, for our health, for our joy, for our anything. All of the good necessary to our welfare will be supplied to us in greater abundance than we can accept when we give up the effort and desire to get, achieve, or accomplish, and come into the consciousness of desiring only to fulfill our destiny on earth. We are here as part of a divine plan. We are consciousness fulfilling and expressing itself in an individual way. And if we will learn to keep our thoughts away from ourselves and away from the fear that we will be without a place to live or income or health, and let God fulfill its destiny through us as us, we will really find all things added to us. As we forget ourselves and learn to be a state of receptivity, we will find ourselves filled with soul power, soul consciousness, soul resources, and our lives will be filled with the company of soul-filled men and women, as he writes, sharing the joys of their lives with us. Goldsmith writes that the mind that was in Christ Jesus is your mind, and it is ready to give itself to you as you forget self and become receptive to the divine wisdom within you. The resources of soul are waiting at the door of your consciousness, ready to bring you more than you can accept, but not to satisfy some personal or selfish desire. Goldsmith writes, this song of the soul is freedom, joy, and eternal bliss. The song of the soul is love to all mankind. The song of the soul is you. So why are we so slow in gaining our freedom from illness, discord, and other material conditions? It's really because of our inability to grasp that there is no reality in the material world. We're learning from scientists as well as from metaphysicians that what has been termed matter is a misrepresentation of mind. Mind is the instrument of God, and God is spirit. Therefore, all that exists is spiritual substance, regardless of the name or nature given to it by our finite senses. God is the consciousness of the individual. Therefore, all that can come to us as person, thing, or condition is coming to us as consciousness, in consciousness, and through consciousness. And God consciousness is the soul of every individual. God principle is the law of all in action, and God spirit is the substance of all of which we are conscious. Spiritual consciousness is the awareness of the individual as God being, as having only the mind of God and the body of spirit. It recognizes the entire universe as governed by divine principle. Spiritual consciousness is the ability to see beyond the appearances to reality. It's the recognition and realization that as God is our mind, all that appears to us is in and of God, which is our only consciousness. Spiritual consciousness does not overcome or destroy matter or material conditions, but knows that no such conditions exist which finite sense presents. It translates the appearance of material world for us, revealing the true nature of that which is appearing before us. Spiritual power emanates from the soul of you and the soul of me. It's impersonal and it's impartial. Spiritual consciousness lifts us above every human form of limitation and allows us to enter a larger sense of life, health, and freedom. Where there is spiritual consciousness, there is no bondage to person, place, or thing, and there is no limitation to our accomplishments. Meditation is the door to the realm of soul, and inspiration is the way in. So as we learn to take 5 or 10 minutes each morning, noon, and night to sit quietly as we turn within ourselves and learn to wait for the still, small voice, we do this over and over until inspiration takes hold of us and leads us to the depth of our soul. Goldsmith writes, "This is the beginning of our new birth, and here is where we learn the new language of spirit. Life begins to have a new meaning." Thank you for joining us today, and may you reach the depth of your soul through your continuous times of deeper meditation.